something you see every day. Would you do that? Would you fly through the eye of a hurricane?
I'd love to.
Yeah, no, not for me.
You know who actually has is Valerie.
I believe that.
Yeah, during her time in the service, she flew with that squadron and
Cool.
went right through. Yeah, she's shared some pictures, and I can't imagine what it looks like in person. The pictures are stunningly beautiful. We know the havoc, of course, that hurricanes cause, but when you get in the eye and that stadium effect, the way the clouds just seem to go straight up, and it's absolutely crystal clear in the center. One of nature's big miracles, that's for sure. I do want to quickly touch on what's going on with Hurricane Lee. It's a strong Category 4 hurricane, still a ways from any kind of landmass, although if you're watching, Puerto Rico is in the Windward Islands there are obviously, looking out, and they know something is amiss out there on the horizon, and that would be Lee. As of the 11 o'clock advisory, a very strong Category 4 hurricane. Category 5 strength begins at like 1 or 2 more miles per hour after that, so it's right there, and it's expected to maintain a major hurricane strength as it continues its west and northwestward trek towards the East Coast. But I want to just touch on this briefly now, that a lot of our guidance continues to show Lee taking this turn before it gets all that close to the East Coast. And if it maintains a path like this, we'd be okay. Now, if subsequent updates and forecasts shift this a little bit further west, we're looking at some increased cloud cover, and further west still, we'd be dealing with some pretty heavy rain out of this. So again, something that we'd have to watch for late next week. As you'll see on our 7-day, right now we're leaning on a dry solution, and in fact a week from today looks really, really nice if current forecasts hold true. As for tonight, under a severe thunderstorm watch for all the highlighted counties that you see here until 11 o'clock. Damaging winds again, torrential downpours. It's not exactly a repeat of last night necessarily, but there are some of the same ingredients in play that could lead to some pretty feisty storms. Now, we've already seen one of those that moved up through Pike County, up in the Matamoros area, about 3:30 or so this afternoon. That has since moved on out. Nothing really doing locally for the time being, but when you widen this whole thing out, see this circled area that I have over West Virginia and Virginia? This is a cluster of storms that's starting to get itself together, and there's a lot of ingredients in play, a lot of very humid, moist air, and those storms are going to be moving almost along like this highway or railroad track. You can almost kind of make it out on water vapor satellite imagery up into our backyard. So we've got a few hours of dry weather to go, but then those storms are going to get in here. So let's talk timing. Again, we're dry through dinner time. Looks like the high school football games will be okay here this evening, but not long after they end, especially those in central Pennsylvania. Storms will be rumbling their way through, perhaps making their way up into the northeast by midnight or so if this current model projection holds true. So we've got a few more hours yet. Beautiful evening, you can barbecue, do all that stuff, but just know that if you go to bed early tonight, you may get woken up by some pretty loud thunder bumpers moving through. High school football games tonight, yeah, they look okay. Some clouds, sure. 1 or 2 may see a shower, but I think we're going to look out of this thing and hold off that rain until just after the games wrap up about 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight. So looks humid tonight, will be stormy. Temperatures in the upper half of the 60s again, so uncomfortable for sleeping. For the weekend, we've got partial sunshine both Saturday and Sunday. Does look a little bit cooler than it has been today and previous days. Highs tomorrow close to 80, upper 70s on Sunday, and there again will be the opportunity for more storms to pop up again in the afternoon. And much like today, any storms that get going tomorrow afternoon could be on the stronger side too. So here's a timeline, 4 o'clock, kind of like today, not a lot going on in the early part of the evening, but once we get closer to dark, looks like more storms will be firing up, then quiet down again with the setting of the sun on Saturday evening, only to fire back up again on Sunday. It looks like another busy afternoon on Sunday. So pretty stormy pattern that we found ourselves in. Probably not a huge surprise. We talked about this slow moving system coming in, slow to arrive, gave us a lot of dry days, and now that it's here, we've got a bunch of wet ones. So all is quiet for now, but storms are expected later on. Get that severe thunderstorm watch until 11 tonight, and it looks like more storms to get through before the weekend is over. But I mentioned it. Look at next Friday there, Stacy. Mid-70s and sunshine. Fingers crossed that we keep Lee far enough offshore to enjoy that.
My eyes went right there,
Yeah.
looking toward next weekend already. Looks good.
Right there, yep.
Thanks so much, John.